Children. How to correctly and effectively convey information to children? I am trying to bring transurfing and Tufti to my 6.5-year-old daughter, since she bombards me with similar questions about dreams, about the existence of the world, and how everything is arranged in it, about the universe, etc. Tell in your own words as you understand. If you understand, the children will understand too, but they may not understand if the questions are difficult for them or difficult to explain. Do not hurry. Such information is best assimilated from 16 to 17 years old. How to explain to children 6 and 12 years old how to use the plate? I explain how it is, but they do not understand. Even a video of Tufti them showed the eldest understood at least something, but the youngest didn't. They don't understand, so they're not ready yet. Try to explain through some years. In addition to the eldest daughter, 24 years old, I have 3 younger children, 10, 6, and 6. How can you help them use this knowledge? Talk in your own words as you understand. If you understand, then, and you can tell. If you understand, then the children will understand. But if not understand, do not impose. Try again later, after a few years. Perhaps not yet ready, and perhaps not their knowledge, and not their path. Each has its own path. In my family, as probably in the majority, there was a situation when a child is taught things that are completely contrary to the TS. For example, when the baby fell and hit, you need to scold the toy that turned out to be with him underfoot, and at the same time beat the corner of the closet, about which he himself and knocked. The most terrible what grandparents impossible explain what such teachings are fraught with. I myself, with such views on life, lived for 23 years and was sure that apples do not fall into the sky. The world is waiting to put the bandwagon on you, the strongest survives. And I know firsthand how difficult it is then get rid of these ballasts and take responsibility for your life in your hands. Of course, as I grow older, I will try to convey to my child the basic principles of managing reality, the principles of mirroring, the sensations of magic and the goodwill of the world, feeling the most understandable language for him and his own example. And what about the plate and Tufti's teaching? How old are you advised to tell the child about it, and in general whether it is necessary narrate? How able are children or adolescents to realize themselves and wake up? And how safe is it for them? Remembering their children's fantasies, sometimes I am glad that some of them did not translate into reality. All children are different, with different levels of awareness. Like adults also. Not all adults are able to accept and perceive this knowledge. Like not all children either. Most are probably not. No need to impose, but also lament if not accepting. Everyone has his own path. You can explain the basics of transurfing to children in your own words with any age. Tufti techniques, probably from 11 to 12 years old. If they accept interested, so you can give books to read. Yes, you can give read, and Tufti the priestess, and the priestess at fit. If this is their way, they will understand, perceive. If not, try again in a few years. If again no, do not impose. Tufti says that we should act quietly and not wake the sleeping ones. But if sleeping is your daughter, I have long understood that I cannot convey to her none of this knowledge. When she hears the word transurfing, she twists at the temple. I did not impose on her, just offered to read. She here's a bad birth, she is now overweight, very overweight, and the resulting health problems. Is there any the opportunity to help her without breaking the rules and without causing her rejection? If you don't accept, you can't do anything about it. Her life, this is her life. The circumstances are such that my mother now lives with us. What slide is needed to remove the destructive influence, a relative who negatively destroys his son's faith in transurfing and intention also makes the child eat meat. I do not want scandal with grandmother with his son, but it's hard just to let go of the situation when in front of the son's eyes he turns into a zombie parrot, repeating statements authoritarian grandmother. This situation is probably for many when 3 generations live together. How can neutralize grandmother's negative
Own.
example? Who your son wants to be like, you or grandmother.
But
In general, one must set out to live separately. Highly it's hard to get along with parents. They are easier to love from a distance. I'm interested in how children set their reality.
how does a
Small child attract violence against himself? And where did you get the idea that children set their reality? Reality only a person who knows that this is possible and who knows how to ask do.
it
Violence can attract not only a child, in general anyone. Mostly, their guilt, inferiority, and insecurity. But these feelings are most often born in childhood. They are induced by adults who do not raise children like this required to do it right. But they are being manipulated. Last thing time at networks appeared, lot interview. Entrepreneurs, various successful people. These people, as a rule, are very energetic, positive, think outside the box, speak and act confidently, as if by force. So solid and arranged. They don't talk about transurfing or some other system they have, especially some secrets in terms of nutrition, body, etc.
but it feels that they
Are solid, strong, powerful. By the way, the technique of transferring the projection to I really like myself. But the question is, why do they have the force initially, and is it possible to come to that level? Why it happens? Are they given more talents?
yes,
The level of talent can be different from birth, but not believe that. Such people do not engage in self-development in one way or another technique. Talent either develops or degrades as a rule. These people are developing even as just to the mind. Maybe they are not serving. How to raise awareness in a child. My son is 6 years old.
I
I read him the book, The Priestess Fit for the Night. I try to quote and retell excerpts from your other books. I'm still flashing my own. Not finished. I worry that I unknowingly zombie my child.
zombie
A child can only society. How do you zombie him? Awakening awareness in him? Rather, open your eyes to him. Develop with him, set an example. This is the best you can make for him. When working with a plate, can I visualize or mentally to utter words that my family members, wife, children, are healthy, mainly, and happy? And as a special case, if any of them already sick, can I visualize how they recover quick and easy? Is this an influence on a person and his layer of the world? Does such visualization fall under the prohibition of interfering in the life of another person? This is not a ban, but the inability to intervene in the life of another person or somehow straighten his health.
set
Health and well-being only possible for a small child before early adolescence age. While he is with you on the same film, what is the best way for a young child to explain what dreams are? And I myself do not have a clear idea. They told me in childhood that this unrealistic, exactly how you write in a
book
and you write that after that a small person's ability to set reality disappears. Because is it better to explain in order to avoid this?